Until our souls locked deep inside. Whispers in the wind, echoes in the air. Unveiling the darkness, a chilling affair. Walking through the asylum, where madness lies. Where the shadows dance and the scream resides. A twisted symphony of murder and crime. Unravel the mystery of the unknown
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Asylum with Harley and Joker. We have Josh joining us today.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How is everybody's day going?
Yeah, long day.
Yes.
So far, so good. So far, so good. Had a good day. I refereed a wrestling show, and I don't know, went really well. Saw some new wrestlers I had never seen, so having a good day.
That's awesome. Well, if you guys can't tell, we are now in the padded room because, well, we're the asylum. Where else would we be?
Yeah, exactly.
Found that fitting. As long as we don't lick the walls, we're good.
Ah, the walls are tasty.
As long as someone throws me in a big stuffed teddy bear, I'm good.
Okay. Well, nobody's watching us yet.
Joke from earlier today. And you got to make sure you change the settings so I can put this on my pages too.
I don't know
that
how to
option's-
do that.
You gotta go to your StreamYard settings before you set up the show. But
Oh,
There you go.
well, I'll do that next time because I don't know. You'll have to show me how to do it. Not like anybody's watching us right now. Anyways, we have a comment. Hey, Lonnie, I hope you are feeling better being home and out of the hospital, especially after having surgery. Josh, I don't know if you know, Lonnie's a viewer from the Mod Squad, and he just had heart surgery.
Oh, goodness. Well, I wish you well, Lonnie, and definitely get some rest because that's scary. So
He was ready to be out of that hospital.
I bet I would be too. I'm not much of a fan of hospitals.
He is one of our loyal viewers.
yes, Lonnie's popped up in a lot of shows. So
I know he watched us on Bracket Bastards earlier, and now he's watching us on The Asylum with Harley.
I'm pretty sure he commented
And
last night
Joker.
on the bracket last night too. But
Yeah, he was watching the bracket last night too. Well, I'm feeling a little better. Thanks. Just waited for oxygen. Well, we're hoping you feel better here soon. Okay, guys, for those of you who don't know, this episode is Killer Couples Who Live to Love and Love to Kill. Love is
This should be interesting.
and like my little thing I put on there, nothing says love like a body in the trunk.
3-6 Mafia would agree, but it's body parts in the trunk, not the whole body.
Yeah, you know what they say. Somebody's gonna get it. Anyways.
Okay, so our first couple is, well, they're quite known because I just watched a movie about them here recently. And it's got the girl from Orange is the New Black in it and that 70s show. Donna.
Okay.
What the hell's her name? I can't even think of her. For some
It's
reason.
yeah.
Laura Papon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an interesting movie. And if you don't know, we are talking about the Ken and Barbie killer. Okay.
Yeah. So I know I'm the one with like a degree in this kind of shit, but I hadn't known everything, so I'm glad you included this list because I can kind of look and
Yeah.
see what
eh,
everything's about.
Their story is quite interesting. Like, she started dating him. She was a veterinarian assistant or a veterinarian tech, and she was 23 years old. Well, no, she was 17 and he was 23. And before their relationship, he had sexually assaulted 10 plus girls and earned a monocle. And between 1990 and 92, he sexually molested 3 more women, including her younger sister. In the movie that I watched about them, she helps in that molestation of her sister. Like, she puts this whatever, it's the chloroform over her nose on the rag after helping getting her drunk, and with the sleeping medicine from the veterinary clinic that she took, and was putting it in her drinks. And then he was like, okay, now you touch her.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, what can you even say about that, really? I mean, it'd be kind of like a kinky threesome thing if it wasn't her sister. That just kind of
Yeah,
makes
if
it
it
weird.
wasn't her sister. I mean,
Yeah.
she did help in a couple of the other ones, and she did, like, in the movie they showed her like touching the other girls and all that, which that's nothing's wrong with that. We don't kink shame here.
No.
But the aspect of the sister, I couldn't get. That was not. That's not kink shaming. I just couldn't get past that one because I don't think that would. Okay, our second one.
A lot of these have similar things to that, but the whole aspect of it, including her sister, is just a whole nother level.
Well, she served 12 years for her involvement in the crimes, and she's currently out of jail, and she's married and has 3 children of her own.
Yeah, I see that. Like, how can you, like, imagine the husband and the kids? They got to be like, like,
Well,
that's mom.
Bobby was in jail for helping with.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay, our
Oh,
second.
mom.
That's just mom right there.
Jesus.
Okay. So our second couple is famous Bonnie and Clyde, which everybody knows who Bonnie and Clyde is.
You don't even have the
So-
sexy picture of her with her freaking foot up on the car and a cigar in her mouth.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So, I have to say, for some reason, I thought this was going to be a bracket one, and I was like, Bonnie and Clyde are out immediately because while they did terrible things, come on, they're kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. In 1930, 19-year-old Bonnie met 21-year-old Clyde. The next couple of years, Clyde spent in and out of prison, but once he was released in 1932, their crime spree began. Even though they're known for numerous robberies and banks in small towns, they also killed upward of 9 cops, 4 civilians. On May 13th, 1934, police officers and Texas Rangers opened fire on Parker and Bonnie and Clyde, as they were leaving their hideout. They died instantly. Of course, they died instantly.
You
They were
can actually
fired on.
You actually could find pictures online of Bonnie laying on the autopsy table, and holy crap, her body is torn to shreds.
I'm looking. I can't remember, so I'm looking up how many rounds were fired at.
Do y'all know if it's showing us live? Because We have nobody watching except
How many?
Laura.
I'm looking.
Well,
Yeah,
Bonnie
we're
was
live.
shot 26 times. Clyde been shot 17.
I'll show you.
But some researchers, that's what the coroner said at first, but they were actually, researchers since then have said they were each shot about 50 times more each, which is freaking nuts.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it is what it is.
It says between 130 and 118 shots were fired. I think they did the job.
I think it's a little overkill, but that's
Yeah,
just my
I
opinion.
know. I definitely concur.
It was just more like a we caught them, now let's blow them to pieces type thing. And it was also Wild West. It was Wild West justice. I mean, Wild West justice was always way overdone, more than it should have been.
Yeah. And then another one says it's the car was riddled with 167 bullets in less than 20 seconds. That is crazy. Anyways,
It baffles me.
yeah.
Okay, our next ones are Myra Henley and Ian Brady,
I know her name.
also known as the Moores murders.
hmm
That we wanted.
Okay.
It is pretty weird that we have like it's actually a fairly American phenomenon for serial killer. I know you have some famous ones like Jack the Ripper, but overall it's a pretty, like, America kind of dominates in that field. So it's interesting that there are examples of this from other countries. So
Oh, brothers.
In 1961, a young Myra Henley met Ian Brady, and the pair soon discovered their perverse intellections and desires to rape, torture, and kill young children. You know, this couple kind of makes me sick to my stomach, but they're on this list.
We're talking very loud.
Throughout the
Sorry,
60s,
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get close so I can hear you.
Henley and Bradley abducted 5 children between the age of 10 and 17, the most infamous being 10-year-old Leslie Ann Downey, and left her body in the Saddleworth moors of England. The body of their second youngest victim, Keith Bennett, was never found. Both Henley and Bradley were found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Henley died.
What do you want then? You want a blanket?
hey, Jeremy, we can still hear you, buddy.
I muted him. Henley died in 2002, and Brady died in 2017.
Yeah.
So they both died in prison.
Oh man. 10-year-old, like that. It's always crazy to me how many of these are like a really terrible person meets another person and somehow convinces that person to do the really crazy dumb shit.
Terrible things.
I don't get how that works. Like, how do they find these people? Because you'd think they'd like reveal their perverse shit, and then that other person would immediately be like, I'm calling the police.
No,
You know,
that's not the way. That's not the way psychology works at all. I mean, a manipulator like that makes the person fall for them first. They spend all this time making them fall for them, and once they're
That's
hooked,
true, actually. Yeah.
I mean, once they're
Lonnie,
hooked,
I think I'd be pissed.
yeah, I would be too. But once they're hooked, that's when they start throwing all these perverse ideas on it.
That's
And
fun.
it's basically like, if you don't do this, you don't love me. And that's when the other person's like, no, I do love you. I'll do it. Like it's basically playing with someone's head and emotions and just completely controlling them.
You
Yeah,
know, some of
that's
this,
fair.
like some of the stuff that they did, I don't care how much I love my significant other or whoever I'm
Exactly.
with. Nothing they say is gonna convince me to do some of the stuff that they did.
Yeah,
No, it's like, dude, if that's what you want, I'm not the one for you.
I mean, and also fuck the people seem to find each other. That's just the way life works. I
Yeah,
mean, they're gonna explore that more in the Joker 2, but
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
hold up. I actually didn't know they were making is it Joaquin and
Yeah, it's
wait,
Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, and it's kind of
listen,
a musical.
that sounds awesome.
I know,
There
right?
is like pictures of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, and they're badass. I'm so
Although
excited for that
although I
one.
still think they should just get Tara Strong to play fucking Harley Quinn. She's got the
Well,
voice.
see, like
She's
I've
hot.
always
Like,
said, there's okay, Margaret Robbie was the Harley Quinn for the Suicide Squad, okay?
mhm,
Or however you want to pronounce her last name.
Margot Robbie.
There's
But either way, it
but
doesn't
for
matter.
Joaquin, Lady Gaga gives off that perfect Harley for that role right there because when she was in American Horror Story, she played that psycho role just perfect.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point.
And Lady Gaga is basically the female Marilyn Manson to begin with. She can play weird.
That's also a great
Exactly.
point.
I mean, look at some of her costumes on stage.
I mean, she wore a dress made of meat for fuck's sake. So yeah.
Yeah. She
And
hasn't
I
really
mean,
done that crazy
music
shit in a
video.
while, but yeah, you're right.
I think it's the only time you can go to a girl and be like, I can't wait to get your meat in my mouth.
Can you imagine how bad that meat smelled at the end of the night of her wearing that dress,
Mhm.
being out room temperature, and in the elements for as long as she wore that?
My thing is like, are they just waste it, or do they cook it? You know,
Well, why would you cook it when it's already been in the
it's
elements
wasted.
for?
No, I'd cook it. I'm just kidding. All right, that's enough of that.
Josh is just scarfing down that meat on Lady Gaga.
Listen,
Well, I'm
I'm a
happy.
sucker for a good steak. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, I was gonna say if you didn't say Lady Gaga at the end of that statement, it would have been a lot funnier.
Okay, moving on. Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why, but now I just remembered that here in a month I'm gonna meet Tara Strong. So, well, I don't know. I'll be at the same convention as her. We'll see. Anywho,
Okay, our next one is Christine Paola and Chris Sidney, also known as Clear Lake Massacre.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
see, this one's just sad to me. Like, by all accounts, they seemed like good kids, and then drugs. Like,
Okay, so for those of you who don't know their backstory, in 2003, 17-year-old Christine met 21-year-old Christopher the same year that she was voted Miss Irresistible by her classmates. The two began dating and fell into a life of drugs. On July 18th of that year, they both went to their friend's house in order to steal drugs. But after an argument ensued, the couple shot and killed the 4 people in the house. 2 of her friends and their boyfriends, and went on the run. It would have been almost 3 years until police apprehended them for the crime. Palia was sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole in 2046.
Jesus.
And Snyder overdosed on heroin before he was able to be charged.
I mean,
Of
this
course.
just sounds like this just sounds like a drug deal gone bad.
Yeah, I know. It's less horrifying than it is just really, really fucking sad.
I mean,
And Yeah.
Drugs are bad, kids. Okay.
Drugs are bad and good.
Okay. So our next one.
That's all we say, and then we pass.
Dude, okay, just look at this dude. He looks like he's fucked in the head.
The next guy?
The guy she's
Yeah.
showing on screen right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the vampire.
Oh,
Well,
I know.
listen,
I know.
you'd be fucked in the head if you were a 300-year-old vampire too. So
No, I wouldn't. I'd be a freaking rich millionaire. I'd be like Johnny Depp in freaking Dark Shadows.
but listen, Dark Shadows was a good movie. I can't lie.
It's a better
Okay,
show,
so-
but yeah.
True.
That is Jasmine and Jeremy, also known as Richmond Family Murders.
Damn, people ruined the name Jeremy.
In 2006, 12-year-old Jasmine met 23-year-old Jeremy, a self-proclaimed 300-year-old vampire, at a punk rock concert. The
As one
two
does.
began
That is
dating-
that is where you meet those people. So that makes sense to me.
The two began dating, much to the outrage and cringe of Richmond's parents. The two grounded her. Yeah, really, that's going to help. That's going to work. I'm going to ground you. Grounded her and forbade her from seeing him ever
And then
again.
And then he burst in shirtless with his freaking tight pants. Said, "Nobody puts baby in a corner."
Exactly.
So, in retaliation, on the night of April 22nd, 2006, they murdered her parents and her 8-year-old brother. While she
Why you
was
gotta kill the
sentenced,
8-year-old?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The parents is one thing, I get that, but the 8-year-old, come on.
While
I get
he was
that. I get
sentenced to 3 years concurrent
3
life
concurrent life sentences.
sentences for 3 counts of first-degree murder. Since Richmond was a minor, her maximum sentence was only 10 years, including time served. She was released in 2016. So she killed her parents and got very little time. So
So
the moral of this story is, if you're going to kill your parents, not that I'm saying do it as a minor, because
Yep.
then you won't get as much trouble.
Yep. This is my first time I'm going to use my criminal justice degree. In case you don't know, the difference between concurrent life sentences and consecutive life sentences, concurrent are served at the same time. So I don't understand why you would sentence somebody to concurrent life sentences, because it's like it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It should be consecutive. I don't know why it was. Yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter. He probably is gonna die in prison, but still.
No, remember, he's a vampire.
Why? Of course, I don't know why I said that. He'll live forever. He probably got sentenced and was like, "Ha ha!"
You can't kill me.
Oh, if I was the judge, I would have sentenced him to like 10,000 years or something. Something very, very stupid. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like South Park did a whole episode about, like, all you have to do is, like, get our parents in trouble and then they get taken away. Like, why the hell didn't they just do that with their parents? Like, all she had to do is been like, go to the cops and be like, my parents touched me. And bam, parents are gone.
don't say that out loud, because then other kids will be like, "Hey,
If there are kids watching this show, they got other issues.
that's a
Yeah,
good point." That
because
is a good
children
point.
should not be watching this episode.
Kids, listen. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Yes, it is past your bedtime. If you're watching, go to sleep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Speaking of children, this is Kim Edwards and Lucas Martin, also known as the Twilight Killers. This
Who-
is the youngest ones on our list right now.
Who would you guys cast in a movie of them? I think Chloe Grace Moretz could play the girl for sure.
Put the picture back up. Actually, I'd put Baby Teeth from Stranger Things as him.
That's a good point. Yep, yep.
Just make him look a little more uglier, I guess, because that boy's pretty damn ugly. He got that.
Okay.
I mean, that girl ain't no freaking prize either, but still.
Well, that's their mugshot picture, so of course it's not the greatest. Okay,
True.
sometime between 2015 and 2016, 14-year-old Kim Edwards and Lucas Markham began a very intense relationship. Edward's mother, of course, she's got Edward in there because, well, it's Twilight Killers.
My last name is Edward, so. And I have an
Edward's
Aunt Kim.
mother, well, her last name's Edwards too. Maybe you're related to this little
I'm not.
killer. Okay, Edward's mother, who had a tense relationship with her daughter since a domestic altercation between the two in 2008, was very weary and worried about the intensity of their relationship and tried to break the two up. In retaliation, of course, retaliation is the key there. They plotted to kill Edward's mother, of course. What else would they do? In
Their love is real,
2016,
Mom.
Markham stabbed and smothered both Edward's mother and younger sister after Edwards was unable to go through with it. Well, she chickened out. After their deaths, the couple took a bath, had sex, and watched Twilight. Oh my God. Until the police came the next morning.
I don't know what's a bigger crime. The
Watching
actual
Twilight.
killings or watching Twilight?
Twilight.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
took
I feel
a
like
bath, had sex, and watched Twilight until
Listen,
the police
most
came.
of that night, okay, there was murders. Those are horrible. Watching Twilight, terrible. But having a bath and sex, honestly, sounds like a pretty decent night.
The middle part sounds pretty fun, but I mean,
Yeah.
the first part. I mean, if you get away with it, then maybe it's a little fun too if you're into that. I don't
And my
think shame,
thing,
but
so it says after their deaths, the couple took a bath, had sex, and watched Twilight until the police came. Which of those took the most time?
Probably the watching the Twilight.
Thing is, did they take a quick bath, have a quick sex, and then did they just watch Twilight for the rest of the night?
I mean, and why are the cops coming? Did they call the cops? Like, how'd they get caught?
Yeah, how did the cops find out that they killed the mother and the
This is a
sibling?
great question, and now I want to look it up.
I mean, if they lived
It
in an
says-
apartment building or something, then maybe neighbors heard something, but I don't know.
Says
I mean,
the two were sentenced and found guilty, and they were sentenced to 17.5 years in prison. So they got that half year in there too.
La-di-da-di-da.
I mean, it's 17.5. Jesus Christ. I mean, so wait a minute. And that was Twilight. So this happened in when? 2012, 2013?
2016.
So they got a good 10 years at least left. So
Yeah. So not only did they watch an old movie, because this was back in 2016 and Twilight came out.
Oh, they ate
Before
ice cream
that.
while watching Twilight, so that helps a little.
I mean, did you say his name is Edward? His name's Edward too.
No, her
No.
last name was Edwards.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn. I was gonna say if his name was Edward, that would have been perfect.
Yo.
Wow.
It was only when police forced their way in after the kids were reported missing from school. Okay.
Wait a minute. They missed one day of school, and the police
were
showed up.
like, "Go get them!"
I mean,
Wow.
Jesus.
It was in England, so.
Oh, maybe.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because in England,
they're British.
They
British
actually
people are
care
kind of
about
fucked
their
up.
Yeah, they're
Asian.
British, so actually they are both better looking than I expected. All right, I'm kidding.
Oh, and this is like I say, I'll start the Revolutionary War again at any time. So come on, Brits.
Oh no, I
okay.
think they should take the colonies back. Anyways,
Sure, they might do a better job.
This is Bailey Boswell and Arbery Trail, also known as the Tinder Murderer.
I straight up know a girl who looks exactly like that mugshot you're showing right now. It's kind of creepy. Now, in the picture on the BuzzFeed article that you're reading from, that picture doesn't look like her, but the one that you're showing right now, it looks just like her. It's kind of weird.
Well, I had to go find pictures because the BuzzFeed article, I couldn't save those, and then it wouldn't let me upload them to the computer.
Fair.
Okay, so in 2017, 23-year-old Bailey and her 50-year-old
Boo.
boyfriend, Lord Sidney Loof, to her death
Very much not funny.
intentionally.
All right.
Loof thought she was going out on a date with Boswell, so she thought she was going out with the girl, okay, whom she met on Tinder, but in actuality, she was a targeted victim for this couple. Luffy's remains were found throughout 16 garbage bags, and not long after, Boswell and Trell were arrested. Trell was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and improper disposal of human remains. How do you properly dispose
Now,
human remains?
I really like the fact that if he would have done all that, but then like buried the body, like treated it with respect, that would have been okay.
I mean, that right there is the definition of body parts in my trunk. So yeah, 100%. 16 bags though seems like overkill. I mean, you can get away with like 5.
That reminds me of a terrible joke, but anyways, I don't.
Well, he was sentenced to death, okay? So Bailey, who was also found guilty, is currently waiting to hear if she will be sentenced to life in prison or to death.
Mm. Why can't these people ever find
Interesting.
my exes? Swear to God.
Yeah. Sure. No comment.
They don't, and they don't all live in Texas. So just
Is that why you hang your hat in Massachusetts? Oh, no.
I actually don't. I don't have any exes in Massachusetts, so it's all good.
There you go.
Okay, our next one is Catherine and David Bryan, also known as the Morehouse Murders.
Oh, okay. I've heard podcasts about this
In
one.
1985, Catherine left her husband and 7 children to reunite with her childhood sweetheart, David. So the two of them could live out their depraved sexual fantasies. Over a span of 5 weeks, the couple abducted, raped, and murdered 4 women. The 5th escaped before she could become the 5th murder victim. Between the ages of 15 and 31, the victims were between ages of 15 and 31. The couple was found guilty and sentenced to 4 life sentences. However, David hung himself in his cell nearly 20 years after his sentence. Catherine is still in prison.
At least we didn't have to keep paying for his internment.
Okay.
That
Wow.
one sucked. Like,
And Kevin, Kevin, I'm a fan of the true Joker right here. Not the Heath Ledger piece of shit Joker.
you talking about
Just
this
saying.
guy is
Just
the
saying.
Joker? Honestly, yeah, kind of.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he definitely has the look. Like, his eyes are fucking crazy.
Okay, so our next one
That's Mark Hamill Joker, for God's sake. So
is Martha Beck and Raymond Fernandez, also known as the Lonely Heart Killers. Okay, their backstory. In 1947, Fernandez responded to Martha Beck's Lonely Heart ad in the paper. After realizing she wasn't rich as he as he thought, he left her. However, Beck still pursued Fernandez. In 1948, he finally told her that he was a common and swindled her out of her money. But instead of running away, Beck asked to become his accomplice. The two went on a swindle and killed between 3 to 17 women over the next year under the
The guy.
guise of being brother and sister. That's kind of nasty. Beck
mean,
and
that's
Fernandez
the
were
least
both
of
found
their
guilty
issues.
of first-degree murder and sentenced to death via electric chair. They died in 1951.
Nice.
That's kind of nasty.
Finally, two people that fried and didn't like die of a heart attack or hang themselves before they were able to be. At least these two died together. You know, they
Or
died doing
OD'd
what they
over
wanted.
heroin.
Nope, they
Exactly.
they got the chair. They got the chair, and they freaking didn't get the sponge beforehand.
Oh my. Our next one is
Bake them like potatoes.
Gwendolyn Graham and Kathy Wood, also known as Lethal Lovers.
I like this one. Not in a good way. Just like this one's nice and
Okay.
like complicated.
The one on the right could easily be played by 11 from Stranger Things.
Hold on, show me that picture again.
The one on the right looks exactly like 11 in the face. The one on the left,
I
out.
could see-
The one on the left, I don't freaking know. Throw a mold on anybody, but
Hmm.
Sweet
all it
Home
is, they're mold.
Alabama. That's hilarious, Amanda.
What was it?
Amanda said Sweet Home Alabama about the last ones.
Oh boy.
Or maybe she's talking about them because they could pass as Sweet Home Alabama. Okay, their backstory. In 1987, Gwendolyn and Kathy, who were married to a man at the time, were nurse aides in Michigan who killed 5 of their elderly patients from their nursing home. According to Wood, Graham would kill their patients and then have sex with her as a way to relieve her tension. In exchange for a lesser sentence, Wood testified against Graham, who was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Wood received a sentence of 20 to 40 years and released in 2020. Okay, so
So-
I mean-
one was a snake and ratted out her lover
Yep.
while they were oh my.
So here's the
I
thing.
mean,
I haven't read the story, but if she was killing these patients because they wanted to die, I would kind of like, I'd be like, okay, well, whatever. But I don't think, because they're on the list, I don't think that's what was happening here.
wait a minute.
No.
So, let me get this straight. She killed them and then had sex with the bodies or with her girlfriend afterwards.
With her
With the
girlfriend.
girl.
To relieve her
But
tension.
did they do it? Were the bodies
In the
involved at all?
room.
That's my question.
No, they did
I
it
mean-
in the room after killing
I mean,
them.
I mean, if they did it in the room, then spectrophilia still could technically happen. So, I mean, just saying, it's interesting that Wood had to get some wood after she killed people.
Nah,
Okay.
got him.
This is
Jesus
Faye
Christ.
and
That is the creepiest looking motherfucker I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, that reaction was so good. Okay.
okay, this is Faye and Ray Copeland.
Oh, Faye and Ray, it's so cute.
I know, they're adorable. Listen.
Which
I'm just kidding.
one's the top? Which one's the man in that relationship? I want to know.
Okay, so their backstory. In 1940, Ray Copeland met Faye, and the couple later married and had 6 children. In the mid-1980s, the couple began killing their farmhands, anywhere between 5 and 12 people. The couple was apprehended due to a tip to Crime Stoppers, which
Nice.
caused the police to go to their farm, where they found the bodies and several missing men and quilt made of their clothes.
Sick.
The couple was found
sorry.
guilty and sentenced to death. But Ray died of natural causes in 1993, and Faye was paroled in 2002 before dying of natural causes 2 months later.
Yeah. Two
I
fucking
mean-
terrible people just dying of natural causes.
I mean, God smites who he smites, if there is a God, but
The good die young,
So-
you know. These people died super old.
Well, they were super old
mean-
when they started murdering their farm hands. They made a quilt of their clothes. Okay, so
oh,
I like how they met in 1940, and 40 years later, they're like, "Ah, our relationship is just, it's stagnating. We got to do something to."
it's
like,
become
Oh, it's-
really dull. Let's spice it up
let's
with some
liven
murder.
things up, spice things up a little bit. Let's start fucking
Eh,
murdering people.
you know, and it's literally when it's
Well, it's warm.
it probably was actually, but
Oh
and I
my
mean
God, Amanda.
that's the fucking point where you're just like
That's
you're
good.
just sitting there talking to each other, and you're just like, our life has been a little stagnant lately, and then at the same exact time, there's like, what if we start killing people? Big smile across both their faces at the same time.
I have an alternate theory. What if Faye was like, I really want to make a quilt, but like, our
I have
farmhands have
nothing
the
to make
best
the quilt.
jackets. They just do. They have the best shirts. I can't just ask them for their shirts.
I'm gonna take it from him after we kill him.
Yeah. It's all making sense
I mean-
now. I don't even blame them.
I
It
mean-
makes sense to me.
I mean, this is 1980, so they probably saw Leatherface do it in the movie, and they're like, "Oh, it can't be that hard to sew together human skin."
It wasn't
But it wasn't even their
It was-
skin.
It was their clothes. Oh. Oh boy.
Okay, so
You just
This
skip
is-
on. Just move on. Hey, you thought that last guy was creepy, dude? Look at this guy. This guy is hella creepy.
He looks
this
like a
is
wannabe
Monique
Spock.
Oliver. This is Monique Oliver and Michael Fornick, whatever the hell his last name is.
I would say probably Fournier.
also
Fornicator.
known as the Virgin Hunters.
Ow. Sorry, my name.
The Virgin
And-
what?
The Virgin Hunters.
Listen. Same. I'm just kidding. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm so
They
sorry.
look like virgins, so why are they? Okay, so their backstory. In 1989, Monique and Michael married after the former began corresponding with the later. Okay, while he
Latter.
was in prison. So they started talking while he was in prison.
Yeah.
Throughout the next
That always
decade,
ends well.
the
Always.
couple kidnapped, abducted, sexually assaulted, murdered between 18 and 12 girls and one unidentified man. In 2004, Oliver turned him in a year after the failed abduction of a 13-year-old girl. In 2008, the couple was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without a possibility of parole.
I mean, by the look on her face, she's gonna be very popular in prison. And if they're virgins, even more.
I'm pretty sure they were hunting virgins. They weren't virgins, man.
They were
Why does it
looking for the
matter?
bird.
I'm 35. Sorry, my bad.
Wait a minute, they're hunting virgins. What are they? Fucking Zeus?
That's a good fucking joke. All right. Oh.
Okay, this next couple, it kind of grosses me out, but here we go. Sarah and John Mencken also known as the baby farmers. Okay, their backstory. In 1871, Sarah and John married and went to have 10 blah 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 10 children together. Sometime in the late 1880s, John lost his job. So he and Sarah became baby farmers, caring for illegitimate children in exchange for money. A process to foster care. So they were just supposed to foster them,
Yeah.
if you will, to a number of infants. In 1893, they were found guilty of murdering 18-month-old Horace Murray.
Horace.
But
Yeah.
after further
Yeah.
investigation, police discovered the corpse of about 12 infants on their property who the police believe they collected payment for after their deaths.
Mm. Well, I mean, that's
I was
kind of
gonna
a,
make a. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's kind of a smart business plan. I mean, let's just get rid of these kids that nobody wants anyway, and hashtag FTK, and then let's just fucking collect on the money. I mean, it's what Frank Gallagher did with his dead aunt for freaking years. So
Yeah.
Oh, also they kind of that kid's name was Horace. He was gonna have a bad life.
Yeah, but that was like in a different time frame where people were given weird
Yeah,
names.
you're right.
Okay? So they were sentenced to death and hanged in 1893.
I mean,
John was,
and
and
also,
Sarah was
sorry to
sentenced to
any
life in
viewers who were named
prison.
Horace. My bad. I didn't even think about.
I mean, but you know why he could actually have a good life with that name though too, because he could easily, once he got old enough, he could go to school and be like, you know why they call me Horace? Because I got a Horace dick.
Oh my god.
I'm hung like a Horace.
Exactly. If he lived in this day and age, that could be his fucking Twitter handle.
Hello, Lisa.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow. Okay,
There
so
is no Jesus in the asylum. We went through this last time. There's a guy that thinks he's Jesus. Pad sells down, but he's not Jesus. He just thinks he is.
Yeah.
okay, so these next ones, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce their names because it is like
Oh, please do.
some weird.
It's Russian as fuck. Yeah, you need to try
Yeah,
it.
it's
I
some
want to hear.
weird. No, I'm not going to because I know.
No, you gotta.
No.
Do you
No.
want me to give it a shot?
No. Go ahead. Be our guest.
Inessa Tarverdavia, Dieva, and Roman Popakov. That's what I'm going to say.
Popakov.
Yeah, Popakov. There you go.
These look like
Also
these look
known
like the kid.
as
These,
the Gang of Amazons.
okay,
Oh, yeah,
well the dude in
that's
the middle,
one where their whole fucking family was in on it. Nutty.
the guy in the middle looks like he's Fester fucking Adams.
Hold on, but here's a story.
That's the Brady Bunch. Thank you.
And the girl in the bottom left looks like she was freaking held underwater too long.
Oh my god! Oh man, so many thoughts that I can't say. Okay.
Why not?
I'm not a piece of shit. She looks like a nice girl. A nice girl that just
But there's
went on to murder a bunch of people.
Wow. Okay, so this was a family of serial killers in 2013. The family was apprehended and discovered that they killed at least 30 people and stole thousands of dollars. Upon searching their home, police found over 20 firearms inside. One of them, the weird ass name people, was killed in a police shootout. And the other weird ass people names were sentenced to 16.
Listen, Victoria's pretty easy. Victoria.
Well, they were sentenced to 16 to 21 years in prison for their crimes.
At least he went out like a baller.
Yeah, he got shot by the police in a standoff. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. the family that slays together stays together. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. That's good. Okay.
However that works.
That's
Okay.
really good. I like that actually.
This is Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole, also known as the Confession Killers.
Looks like a tool.
Ah. That's what she thought.
I mean, this looks like Asylum Studios. This looks like the villains from Asylum Studios version of Home Alone.
You should see the sad ass picture. Are you looking at the BuzzFeed photo too?
Yeah.
Because I don't know which one that is, but he just looks real sad. Just like, oh.
Well, their backstory in 1976, Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole, two men who were abused by their mothers and forced to dress up as little girls, started a relationship after bonding over their childhood abuse. Soon after, they discovered their taste for blood and began raping, torturing, and killing innocent victims together. The two later separated and were apprehended separately for other crimes. Both Lucas and Toole confessed to hundreds of murders, but only 3 of the 6 victims were confirmed. Lucas and Toole were both sentenced to life in prison and died in prison in 2001 and 2006.
I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. I guess you're the one guy being like, "Oh, you get that hole this time. I get this hole."
See, here's the thing. From the way it's worded, it almost sounds like
They were in a relationship together, okay?
yeah, but I don't know.
And their
I don't know what
mothers
I'm
dressed
saying.
them up like little girls.
It is a sad story. Like obviously they're horrible, but like also Jesus. No, sorry. Jesus, my bad. Or in my case, I guess I could say Loki, damn it. Whatever. Norse pagan. Anyways,
Don't blame
I'm
Loki for your fucking
ADHD.
issues.
I'm ADHDing all over this episode. My bad. Go ahead.
I think we all are, but it's actually pretty good so far. Okay, so our next one is Deborah Brown and Alton Coleman.
What is Tony Stark doing in the background?
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Right?
Now it doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr., but you know who it looks like? It looks like what's Tony Stark's father?
Howard Stark.
It looks like Howard Stark.
Okay, their backstory. In 1983, Coleman, a convicted sex offender, met Deborah Brown. Oh, yes, because that's what every girl wants is a convicted sex offender.
Hey, listen, I have a niece who likes to date people in fucking jail. I don't understand, so I can kind of understand how this happens. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, that's how most serial killers get, like, in relationships, because they got those fangirls. Amanda, are you still there? In 1984, on the eve of his trial for raping a 14-year-old girl. See, that right there would have turned me off.
Oh, well, here's the
Coleman-
thing. They convinced the girl, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I have proof. I just can't show it to anybody.
Wow.
That's
Coleman
the
and Brown
kind of
went
shit.
on the run. Over a course of 53 days, killing 8 victims, committed 7 rapes, kidnapped 3 victims, and carried out 14 armed robberies through 6 states in the Midwest. Coleman, well, that explains a lot right there.
They were doing
Coleman was
doing
sentenced to
side
death.
missions. Anyways.
He was sentenced to death and died by lethal injections in 2002. Brown was sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, they were just doing side missions at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus. Jesus. Loki.
Jesus.
Fucking, yeah, right?
Okay, so our
This
next
guy
one
looks just
is-
like my fucking uncle, and it's so fucking weird. Anyways, go ahead.
Look at his weird ass smile.
It's dead, like his fucking exact doppelganger. It's nuts. Anyways,
And his lover looks like freaking Snow White from Once Upon a Time.
yeah, that's fair.
So that is Carly Ann and Charles Stu Starkweather. In 1956, 13-year-old Carly Ann, of course, redneck name sounding right there, began a relationship with 18-year-old Charles. In 1958, Starkweather murdered her mother, stepfather, and 2-year-old sister. After that, they went on a spree, killing 10 people. Once apprehended, they were both convicted of murder. And Starkwater was sentenced to death and died by electric chair in 1959. And she was sentenced to life in prison, but was paroled in 1976. Why does it seem like the women are getting off easy when they're just as much of a part
I
of
mean, in
this
my
as the
experience,
men are?
They're
in my
more
experience,
able.
Like, they're
Josh, I
probably
got
the
that.
one
I got this, Josh.
manipulating the whole
I got you.
situation.
You're probably gonna say the same thing as me. Go ahead.
In my experience, women get off easier.
Not always,
That is
but
not
that's
true.
a different topic.
In my experience, I said I didn't say worldwide experience. In my experience, fuck haters.
Moving on. Okay,
Oh
this
my
is
god.
David Parker.
Oh, we've
Ray.
been here. We've been here. We talked about these during the old
The Toy Box Killers.
yeah.
Oh, the
Okay.
toy box.
Yeah, our favorite guy, David Parker Ray.
Yep. In 1950s, David Parker Ray began his killing of crime against women. Though he didn't meet Cindy until 1997 in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
The best town name
Okay.
ever. Anyways.
Yes.
Over the next couple of years, Hindi helped abduct 25 women that Ray brought back to his toy box. A soundproof trailer. Guys, if you do not remember the pictures, we shared these on the bracket that we had of this toy box, this trailer. So go back and look at that. We've got the pictures of it on there, of this trailer. Where it was a soundproof trailer outed with sexual torture devices, where he raped, mutilated, drugged, and murdered his victims. In 1999, they were apprehended, and Ray was sentenced to 224 years in prison, but died in 2002 of a heart attack. And Hindi was sentenced to 36 years, but was paroled in 2019.
Yeah. You continue to have a point with this one.
And
Women
I
get
mean,
off her-
freaking Parker Ray over here, like, oh, let me take her back to the trailer where I can impale her.
I mean,
You gotta like the rhyming. You gotta like the rhyming, man.
Like that trailer, they had an air conditioner unit, like a window AC, sticking out the back end of it just to keep them cool while they were torturing
you gotta
and
keep them comfortable, you know.
I mean, yeah. If you want women to be in the mood, you can't have them being all sweaty and nasty.
Yeah.
but I don't think those women were in the mood.
No.
In his
I
mind,
think
in his mind, they
far
were.
from it.
In his mind, they were.
I don't think so. I think it would be. I think in his mind they weren't, and that was the point.
Exactly.
I don't know. He might have been that demented. I mean, obviously he was, but
Okay. Our next ones are
Jesus.
Rosemary and Brad West.
They just look like especially her. She just looks like the most normal, like auntie.
Down to earth.
You know, like oh, that's
He looks like he should be-
Rosemary.
no, he looks like he should be selling me fucking Bibles or a car.
Okay, this is gonna sound really kind of. Do you know who Key
door-to-door
and Peele are?
salesman.
You know who Key
Yes,
and Peele are?
he looks
a
like
white
fucking Jordan Peele. Yeah,
Jordan Peele. He looks like a white Jordan Peele. It's
Jordan
so
Peele could
fucking
play him in a
weird.
freaking reenact. Jordan Peele could play him in a
100%.
movie.
He could. Jordan Peele can whiteface, you know, because that's fine. Anyways,
Okay, so their backstory is quite twisted. Just reading it here. In
Yeah.
1969, 15-year-old Rosemary met 27-year-old Fred. And soon after the couple got married, not long after, the two began abducting and killing young women looking for lodging, okay, of at least 13 victims. 3 of them were their own children.
That's
I mean,
And
if you want a good logging,
God damn it. Okay.
3 of them were their own children, and their crimes included rape, torture, kidnapped, and murder. They were apprehended in 1994. Fred West committed suicide while waiting for trial in 95. Rosemary was sentenced to life in prison.
I just
I
realized
mean,
halfway through you reading that I was smiling, and I'm like, oh, probably not. Probably stop that.
hey, you keep pushing your face together, you're gonna look like him.
Okay, our next one is Carol Bundy and Doug Clark, also known
Listen,
as Sunset Strip Killers.
with a name like
Did you
Bundy,
just?
you know they got to be
I was
good.
gonna say, did you say Carol Bundy? Like, was she
Carol
Ted?
Bundy.
Was she Ted Bundy's mother or something?
She looks like it, honestly, but no, I don't think so.
Actually, it
Okay,
looks like a
so
man drag.
She does, actually. That's true.
So in 1980, Doug Clark met Carol Bundy after murdering and defiling the dead bodies of 2 teenagers. After Clark informed Bundy of his provisions, the two went on a spree and killed a minimum of 2 people together, but were sentenced of more. Well, were suspected of more. After the rape and murder of their victims, Clark would defecate their heads.
Decapitate.
Okay. Decapitate their heads, and Bundy would preserve them for later use.
I want to. 2 things about that sentence. First of all, the fact that they say decapitate their heads is redundant because decapitate means to remove the head. They didn't need to put that. That's just my me being a grammar Nazi. Now, preserve them for later use is the. They don't explain what that means, and
Well, okay, they said up in the article up above that he
defiled the
basically
dead bodies of
did.
2
Yeah, he
teenagers. Yeah.
defiled the dead bodies.
I mean, you cut all the heads off, you put them on the shelf like bowling balls, and then you got different holes for each day of the week.
I was thinking more like they were. He was paying tribute. Is that
No, if it says they were saving the heads for later, then yeah, I know where they were going with that.
No, any really fucked up Reddit or internet people would know what I mean by paying tribute. But anywho, go ahead.
Clark was sentenced to death and is still on death row. And Bundy was sentenced to life in prison and died of heart failure in 2003.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's literally fair.
Yeah, it is. That's karma.
Still on death row. Actually, another thing I can use my degree for. A lot of people say that they would rather put somebody on death row than to keep them in prison the rest of their life because it costs more. But actually, because of the security in a death row cell and the cost of keeping them there, it's actually way, way, way more expensive to keep them for, like, say 10 years on death row than it is to keep them for the rest of their life in a regular prison. So it's actually more cost effective to not kill them.
Trust me, if I'm ever on death row, my fucking last meal bill's gonna cost more than it would cost to keep someone in prison for 100 years.
I have bad news for you. They don't really do that anymore. They give you like a few choices and then that's it.
Okay,
Fuck
our
that.
last one tonight is
Oh, Jesus
Cynthia
Christ. Look at this
Kaufman
guy.
and James Gregory Marlowe.
Holy fuck, he
Put
looks
a
a little
shirt.
bit like my dad. I don't want to say that. What?
Put a shirt on, dude. No one wants to see that.
Keep going. I shouldn't have said that
And
out loud. Uh,
in 1986, Cynthia Kaufman met James Marlowe shortly after he was released from prison. Of course, after the couple married, they went on to rape and kill 4 women before their apprehension. Both Kaufman and Marlowe were found guilty and sentenced to death. Kaufman became the first woman to enter death row since California reinstated capital punishment in 1977.
be honest. What do you think? Do you think I look like that dude?
No. No, that guy looks like someone if I saw him living next to me, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm locking my doors every night.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
I was hoping I didn't look like that guy. All right.
Well, that does it for this episode of The Asylum with Harley and Joker. Don't forget to tune in next week to our next episode. And that does it for us. Josh, where can they find you?
NerdDad765 and on all the things. And buy the shit I make at wolfgarprops.com.
But we will put that link on the Facebook group that we have so that they could go find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also send me an Indiana Comic Cons pretty much from now on. So hey.
And it looks like he's becoming more regular on our show, so you could also find him on The Asylum with Harley and Joker. So, guys, for Jeremy, Josh, and myself.
Who the fuck do you calling Jeremy?
Go ahead.
For
Joker,
I was gonna say though, now we got
Josh and myself.
Josh is officially going to be the Sandman. I mean, not Sandman, Scarecrow.
No, he needs to be the Riddler because he's all over the place. Okay, Deadpool doesn't fit in with the theme here, there, buddy.
You're right.
So you'd have to be the Riddler because.
Actually, Deadpool's the Marvel Jesus, so he can go anywhere he wants.
You're right.
Oh no, he'd have to be the Riddler because Josh seems like the Riddler.
I don't quite see. Maybe the new Riddler off the new Batman movie. Yeah.
Okay, guys. See you next time.